Next, we have our dialogue of the week. Sales of electric car sales have continued to show a remarkable increase in Indonesia as the government's tax incentives and the entry of new brands in the market have made the electric cars more affordable for the country's car enthusiasts.
The entry of more electric car brands in addition to the government's tax breaks has contributed to a further increase in electric vehicle sales in Indonesia. According to the latest sales data issued by the Associations of Indonesian Automotive Industries, or GAIKINDO, battery electric car wholesales factory to dealer in Indonesia reached 23,045 units in January to August 2025. The figures show an increase of more than 177% year-on-year. With the latest sales data, the electric cars account for 4% to the country's total national car wholesales, which reached 560,619 units as of August 2024. GAIKINDO Chairman Yongki Sugiarto has acknowledged that the government's policy to reduce value-added tax to 1% on purchases of electric cars with more than 40% local components, as well as the exemptions of import duties and luxury goods sales tax for completely built-up imports, has significantly helped boost sales. With the tax incentives, electric cars in Indonesia become more affordable, Yongki said last month's quoted media outlet Kontan. In addition, the addition of new models and brands in the country's car market has also become a driving factor for national electric car sales during 2024. At present, there are 18 brands of electric cars in Indonesia, both locally produced and imported. The Chinese brands still dominate the country's electric car market, as the Chinese automotive manufacturers generally offer electric cars with sophisticated technology at relatively more affordable prices. The price factor still plays a very important role for car buyers in Indonesia, he said. Based on GAIKINDO data, the Wuling Bingo EV became the best-selling electric car in Indonesia during the January to August 2024 period, with wholesale sales reaching 3,876 units. The Chery Omoda E5 ranked second with wholesale sales of 3,485 units. Both models enjoy a 1% VAT incentive because they meet the minimum requirement of the 40% local content level. Another Chinese brand, BYD Seal, successfully grabbed the third spot with wholesales of 3,240 units. In fact, BYD is a newcomer to the national automotive industry. In total, BYD sold 6,461 units as of August 2024 through the Seal, Auto, 3 Dolphin and M6 models. As a result, as of last August, BYD was able to climb to the 11th place in the national automotive market. Although the sales continue to increase, it is still a long way to go to achieve the government's target to have 2 million electric cars on the road by 2030. In addition to prices, the accessibility and availability of charging stations and maintenance centers for electric vehicle users remain a major problem in the country's electric car market.
We are going to talk about electric vehicles now. The upward trends in electric car sales continue to rise in the Indonesian automotive market as tax incentives and entry of new brands make the electric cars more affordable for the local car buyers. And we have today Bapak Achmad Rofiqi, Vice Chairman of Indonesian EV Association, or PERIKLINDO. He will share his insights with us on the latest trends in electric cars in the country's car market. Welcome to Economic Outlook, Bapak Achmad. Well, right now in Jakarta, we see a lot of electric cars here and there, and it keeps on growing as we can see it quite often around us in Jakarta now. Tell us, how is the trend going on now? Is it still going strong?
Yeah, because now, as you see, Indonesians have the same condition like as in China back 10, 15 years ago. So we're still in the phase of learning about this EV, and then the trend is keep increasing because, you know, the government gave so many incentive not only for the from upstream for the producers for the car itself, and also for the customers. You know, as for last year for the tax reduction from 11% to 10% to 1%, you know, it's increasing. You know, the people who want to try to move from conventional car to
it's very
EV.
appealing.
Yes, and also the government have their own target for net zero emission in 2060, and you know, this is, you know, the phase that, you know, time is, you know, so fast. You know, now it's 2024, it's already in the end, and government gave so many incentive as for the two-wheelers. They have 50,000 units for 7 million incentive, and the quota is now finished. And I think this is why we see more and more car or motorcycle in Jakarta, and mostly for the big cities in Indonesia nowadays.
Now, from the perspective of the Indonesian EV Association or PERIKLINDO, what is your target like for the near future of the car sales here in Indonesia? How fast will it grow if we're going to go at this rate, or do you think it's even going to boom in the next few years?
Okay, because now if you see from the national sales for four-wheelers, EV still have very small portions. It means like so many brand now coming to Indonesia, and they want to have their own facility because the government opened very wide about the investment from overseas for Indonesia, especially for EV. And also the demand from the government to increase the local content. So now only two brands now can, you know, enjoy this 10% cutoff from the VAT because they already comply with the 40% local content. And we hope that in the near future, so many factory going to build their own facility here, and also increasing the component industry, because this will increase the local content itself, and also open so many, you know, working for the people who want to, I think, conversion, because this is the issue. Is like when people try to shift from the conventional car to EV, there will be jobless. But I think it's a new opportunity that we need to learn something new, because it is inevitable for this industry to be, you know, developed in the near future, and this is we have to see it as an opportunity, not as a challenge, not as a burden for the industry.
Yeah. And of course, you know, the electric vehicle being very affordable, and also, you know, with the special plate number that you can go not daily, like no odd and even numbers, right? So that's actually pretty appealing to the people to get EV. Speaking of the facilities right now, I mean, we know that the number of EVs, you know, it keeps growing, but the facility is not improving yet as fast as we expect it to be. We don't see enough electric vehicle charger around. How do we solve this issue? Are we not fast enough to adapt when that is actually the target we have?
We're from the association also. I think every month we communicate with our members, and also for the, you know, the challenges that we have. Like as a small like one of area in China, in Shenzhen, they have 200,000 chargers gone only in Shenzhen.
Wow.
Now Indonesia, I think 2,000 is not there yet, because the target is very high. But now I think the national electric company also have some cooperation, and also this private charging station manufacturer also already there, and cooperate with this PLN for having their point to be included in the PLN apps in the phone, so people can see. And if you go back in 2022 when G20 is here, you know, the government have the touring from Jakarta to Bali. I'm one of the participants, so you know, it's, you know, like.
Do you feel anxious?
Not anxious about, you know, because the charging is there, because the government want to show you can bring your EV from Jakarta to Bali.
It's possible. It's doable. Yeah.
It's doable, and you know, and we spend several days. So because we have activities in each city, so the charging it depends on the car itself. If you have the fast charging, I think 1 hour, 1.5 now they can go, and the operational cost for the, I think. The money that we spend for charging is cheaper than the expense for the highway itself.
I see.
You know, it shows that, you know, EV is good.
It's a really good deal.
It's a good deal, you know, in spite of, and at that time, I think the price still very high. I think twice or third multiple from the conventional one.
But of course, this is also a major issue when
Yes.
you're trying to grow the market here, because we're talking about lack of charging stations in Jakarta,
Yes.
and we're not even talking about all the other
Yes.
cities outside of Jakarta. Now, speaking of like in Jakarta now, we see a lot of EVs, but mostly it's always like Chinese brand.
Yes.
We see a lot of BYD, we see a lot of Wuling. Tell us, why is it that the Chinese brands are dominating the market in Indonesia? Is it just because of the price? And how is the quality of the electric cars from China, really?
Okay, as I said earlier, that what we are facing now is like in China 10 to 15 years ago, they already have the experience for the EV industry. They have already passed through all the challenges of the batteries and other problem that might occur in the EV itself. So that's why I think this Chinese brand have give more confidence to people to use it, in spite of the prices quite cheap if you compare with like non-Chinese brand, because the battery itself, they have already have so many battery producer in China itself. Like BYD, they have their own battery, CATL, it's used in commonly so many various kind of brand use the battery come from China, lithium one. And one more thing about the charging. The fact that, like 60 to 70% user for EV, they charge at home. Okay, so they use it for urban, and then, I think the person who already shifted using the EV, they have to know today which mileage do I need.
They plan ahead.
They plan ahead, and then not suddenly, okay, we go to Bandung, we go to Semarang. Not that kind of person, because mostly they used to for office work,
for
back and
just
forth,
daily use.
daily. And the problem is for this, the challenge is like people who anxious about where's the charging station. I think mostly it's the one who not using the EV itself, because they tend to postpone their buying for the EV because they're not confident. But if they already bought it and then they use it, I think they will home appliance the charging. I think it's very convenient and it's cheap. And also,
is it cheap?
The government still have this rebate for night time from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. only 1,000 per kilowatt hour.
Wow.
So can you imagine if
that is really cheap.
Like your battery is like what 42?
Yeah.
42 kilowatt hour, so only spend like 42,000 from full.
Wow.
And you can use like for 2 or 3 days compared to conventional car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess this also goes back to the education, the information, getting back to the like the consumers in Indonesia, in Jakarta, because a lot of people are not aware of this. They just think, okay, maybe we are starting to open up to the EV market, but maybe we are not ready yet in terms of the facilities yet. Okay, so traditionally, people like European cars, Japanese cars especially, because it's affordable and the quality is good. I like to go back to my question before. How reliable is the Chinese EV cars? Like, is it really good quality in general? Because we are seeing more and more brands coming into Indonesia. How is the quality control of these Chinese car makers here in Indonesia? Okay,
I think the heart of the EV itself is battery, right? So we agree in this one. So the China industry already facing like more than 10 years for this. So I once go there in China and then check, how old is this car? These drivers say he already used it for more than 8 years, and the battery is still at 88%. So this proof that the quality is good for the battery, because the battery is the heart. This is like the most expensive part of the car itself for EV, for BEV. And then reliable is one thing for the battery, but for things that they're generally used, like for the brake pads and everything else, it's already consumed by the mileage itself. But the battery, seeing for usage after 8 years and then spend only like still in 80%-ish at that time, I think it's quite good for me. And for the non-Chinese brand, they made for perfections, and then the R&D is not very cheap. In China, they share it with others, like the batteries. They have several batteries company. While in this non-Chinese brand, they tend to make the battery by themselves.
I see.
So it's gonna, increase their R&D costs, and then that eventually will be bear by the consumers. So I think that's a difference.
Okay. Do you think that the European and Japanese car companies, are they still going to break into the market, or do you think they're lagging behind with the Chinese companies now?
I think it's the same thing that already happened in the automotive market right now. They have their own market.
Okay.
So they're not gonna lose all. Some diehard fans will still buy this European brand rather than using the Chinese, or because they have the capacity to buy those cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for those who already own an EV car, or for those even who are planning to have an EV car, tell us about the maintenance and the after-sales facilities that is available here in Indonesia.
Okay, I think most of the producers that already sell the car here, they already train all their mechanics in their outlets nationwide to can service and then maintenance about the EV. But the rest is like the private workshop that owned by personal. This is barely there because eventually the manufacturer have to train this private workshop that can receive their cars, but mostly they will go to the authorized dealership, to maintenance and everything. But the parts itself from the EV is much more less than the conventional cars.
Okay.
So you don't need to buy, oil, even the spark plugs, they don't use it. So many things is not there because, less part means less money to spend, which is okay for, the gap for operational expenditure when you buy it at the first time, maybe twice or maybe almost third the price for the conventional car. But for the maintenance and daily usage, it's, what people say, value for money.
Okay, you sound very encouraging right
yes.
there. Okay, last question, Pak Achmad.
Yeah.
On behalf of PERIKLINDO, what do you think can the government do in order to boost the sales even further, to encourage people to change to their cars to EV? Okay,
first it's like the education. It's important because Indonesia have flood in most common area, like they still afraid to use the EV because maybe nearby the area is flood coming each year. So this is still need to be evaluated because how to spread this news to others. And the next one is the policy for investment. Now we say so many brands coming here. Government also have some scheme for this investor to come, and also for the local component parts. This is one thing that I think more important because more and more percentage is demanded by the government. Maybe now it's 40%, next is 60, 80. This is homework for the industry because we don't have those facilities, like even the battery cells. We don't have the company that produce the battery cell here. Battery pack, I think it's already several company come here, but the battery, if can produce here in Indonesia, the battery cell, which means they will increase the local content itself.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also open new job opportunity here.
Of course.
I think it's a good outlook for the next few years for EV industry.
Now, maybe for those thinking, should I get EV now, but the facility is not, like the charging station, as you said before, is not really ready yet? Or do you think it's better to wait several more years before transitioning to EV?
Yeah.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is to use it right now. Okay. Why? Because you already can save money from now. Instead of buying gasoline every day, the inflation fluctuate of the price each month.
Yeah.
This is and electricity price is fixed whole year. And then this is one thing that you can convert your money for buying gasoline is to buy your charging at home.
I see. Okay.
It's very cheap.
Yeah. That is a good good solution right there.
Yes.
All right, Bapak Achmad Rofiqi, Vice Chairman of PERIKLINDO, thank you so much for coming here to Economic Outlook, and we'll have you again next time. Thank you.
Thank you.